What is up, beautiful people? Kirby Hasseman here, trying to deliver you just a little bit more marketing joy. And today we want to talk about how to do social media better. We've talked about this in the past, that you don't have to be perfect, and chasing perfection is just a fool's errand. But what you can do is just be a little bit better than you were yesterday. And so today, I'm not going to give you any definitive answers. I'm going to say, hey, these are some places that you can work to be better in delivering content, social media and content, in order to build your audience and build your business. Now, before we get started, I've written a book called Hit the Target, which is all about doing your marketing better. And the R in Target stands for reach, and that's about social media. So if you want to do a deep dive on this and get more value for free, just go to hitthetargetbook.com. You can get the ebook, you can get the audiobook, you can get a video course, all for free. So please go and check that out. So let's dive into how you can do social media better. Number one, give value. Now, I would say that many small businesses, even mid-sized businesses, really try to treat social media and content just like they do other areas of advertising. In other words, they're trying to stand out a little bit. They're trying to do content or advertising the way that they do it on every other platform, and that's just a mistake. It's called social media for a reason. The idea is to create something that provides value. It either entertains, it educates, it inspires. But so many of the small businesses and mid-sized businesses I see are trying to create TV spots and radio spots and just put them on social media. And while that can be one tiny piece of your social media content, it's not the kind of content that's going to drive the most value. So if you don't know where to start, if you look at your social media and you say, hey, we're posting a lot, but we're not getting any engagement, we're not getting any value, my guess is you're essentially doing all asks. You're doing all ads. So you want to provide value, give value in your social media and your content. So how do you do that? You want to create value. You want to give value to those people who are following you. So why do I believe that? I believe that the small businesses, the sales people, the entrepreneurs who provide value up front are the ones who are going to build relationships with an audience that will purchase for them for many years to come. And many folks, many organizations are just buy from me, buy from me, buy from me. Gary Vaynerchuk talks about this, where it's jab, 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 right hook. And the idea is the jabs are your gifts. Those are where you provide value. And the right hook is your ask. Many businesses are only right hooking. And as Gary will tell you, if you know a right hook's coming, you can duck. So in this world where our audience, the people we're trying to reach, have so much more power, they can skip the ads, they can unfollow us on social media, they can block our messages. Those who provide value will be the ones that build an audience that say, no, please sell to me. Believe it or not, that is true. And the way that you do that is that you give first. So how do you do that? You answer the questions that you're being asked all the time. So one of the things when I'm talking to people on a regular basis about starting to do social media and do it right is just literally make a list of the questions you're asked all the time, the 5, the 10, the 15 questions that you get asked all the time that you have to answer, your sales team has to answer. And if you want, I would encourage you to engage customer service and your sales team in creating this list of questions. Then just go through and create, whether that's blogs, podcasts, videos, where you answer the question. And you answer the question without trying to sell anything. You just give first. What that does is build integrity with your audience. They understand that you are the expert in the room when it comes to this. And the rule of reciprocity kicks in too, because if you provide value long enough, people are going to want to do business with you. So if you want to do social media better, the first step in this is to give value. My number 2 tip on doing social media better is just to be consistent. Show up on a consistent basis. And the good news is you get to decide what consistency look like. Is that once a day? Is that once a week? But do it consistently. Consistency builds integrity. We all know. We start to trust when people are going to show up. The analogy I use a lot is that content and social media really mirrors fitness in a lot of ways. Like a lot of us, at one point you'll go to a conference, the new year will start, whatever it is, and you say, okay, I'm leaving the conference, we're going to start doing social media better. And then for the next 2 weeks, you go gangbusters. You're posting multiple times a day, you're all over the place, and then the whirlwind kicks in. And you've seen it where you go to somebody's Facebook page and they were like crazy busy in social media, and then they dropped off and nothing's been done for a month or two. That happens all the time. And it happens in fitness too, right? January 1st rolls around. This is going to be the year I drop all those pounds. You work out really hard for a week, maybe two. And then you know what? You're sore, you're tired, the kids were up late last night, and you don't have six-pack abs yet, and so you just quit. And I think both of those mirror each other. So consistency is the key. If you want to get fit, you don't have to start with P90X, just start walking every day. And when it comes to social media and content, just you give value, create a post that gives value, and do it consistently. Show up every day for your audience in a way that is meaningful for them. Keep showing up. The businesses and the organizations that keep showing up and keep providing value are the ones that build a long-term audience. So the first step in doing social media better is to give first. And then the second step is just to be consistent about it. Just show up on a regular basis. Number 3, post more. Look, the reality of it is, if I told you that you had a tool at your disposal when you started your business that you could build your sales, you could build your brand, you could build engagement with your brand, you could sell more, you could build your team, you could show off your culture, all you had to do was work really hard at it, would you have done it? I think all of us say yes, but most of us don't do it because that tool is social media. Yes, there are advertising platforms for it, and they've taken back some of the organic reach for sure. But you'll build that up if you give first and be consistent, and then the next step is just to show up more often. Gary Vaynerchuk, who is one of the people I follow a lot on social media, was asked recently that how often should we post? And he's got a whole team of people. But he was like, yeah, 50 times a day. That's right. You heard me, 50 times a day. Now, what he was talking about is across like 8 or 9 different platforms of Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and Snapchat and TikTok and Twitter. Like, he's creating different content with different context that goes to all those things, and he's got a team. But the reality of it is, and you might be saying right now, there's no way I could do that. And it does seem very overwhelming, but most of us can do just a little bit more. Okay, so my advice to you is, if you want to grow your social media following, you want to build your personal brand, post more. Now, back to that first step. Post more where you are inspiring or educating or answering questions. Don't just post more ads, right? That doesn't build integrity. That doesn't build trust. And that's what most people are doing. They're like, all right, we're going to talk about our Black Friday sale. We're going to talk about our sale on shoes. We're going to talk about it is every single one of those posts is just an ad. Post more of what your audience wants, and they will never be tired of you posting. They might not be able to consume all of what you're posting, but here's the thing, most people aren't consuming it all anyway. The algorithm isn't showing it to everybody. But when you can either post more on each platform, you can post to more platforms, that is one of the ways that you can take what you are doing and accelerate your growth on social media. Number 4 is just to engage with your audience. Back to the idea that so many organizations treat social media like traditional media. They post a really good piece of content, and then all of a sudden you see all these comments and people are like, oh, I really like that, or hey, what's the story on this? And they're asking questions, and there are all these things, and there's absolutely no replies. That blows me away. You've just opened a conversation with a bunch of, or even just one of your potential clients or your clients, and you're not engaging with them. You're not being social. So when you post some sort of content and it gets likes, it gets comments, it gets engagement, engage with that audience back. That is the step of building the relationship, right? When they comment, they're reaching out to you. You give the opportunity to thank them for their comment. You get the opportunity to answer the questions. Or if they just want to argue, I'm not suggesting you go down a rabbit hole with a troll, but to clarify, to answer any questions that might come up, I think is really an opportunity as well. Also, doing engagement with the people that you want to do business with is another hack that's really powerful. And I've been doing this a lot on LinkedIn lately, where you see content that inspires you, engages with you, or are prospects that you want to do business with. Spend the time to not only like a comment, but to post a thoughtful, engaging comment where the comment all of a sudden becomes part of the content as well. And LinkedIn is particularly powerful with this, in my opinion, right this minute as I'm recording this. So what that does is, we've all got that voice in our head, right? When you post something on social media, you're like, oh my gosh, nobody's gonna care, or they're gonna make fun of me, or whatever. There's that negative voice in our head. And when you engage with the content of your prospects or your customers, you're kind of saying, hey, this is great. You're giving them some positive feedback for the thing that they know they're supposed to be doing too. The other thing it does is LinkedIn raises it up and starts to show it to more people, including more of the people that follow you, right? And so it helps their content. And then by thoughtfully, not just 100% or love this, post a sentence or a 2 or 3, something really thoughtful to push the conversation forward. Now all of a sudden, your comment becomes a part of the content stream. And I find that to be one of the ways that you can actually start to build an audience and build that trust by giving value through engagement of the actual content that you are consuming as well. And tip number 5, the final one, is just to capture the data of the people that you're providing value to. I'm a huge proponent of social media, regardless of platform. I love being able to tell my story, spread the word, engage with friends and clients all through social media. But social media is still rented media. If you've ever heard me talk about that, rented media is where someone else owns the audience, not you. So every once in a while, take the opportunity to let people jump into your owned media. Give them a lead magnet to sign up for. Ask them to sign up for your newsletter. Give something of value where they give you an email so that when you want to, you can communicate with them, even if Facebook goes away, even if TikTok is banned, even if whatever happens with the algorithm, right? But give them an opportunity to jump in. Once you've provided enough value, many times people will be willing to do that and say, yeah, I actually do want to hear more from you because you have been thoughtful, you've given first, you are consistent, you're showing me the way. Yes, let me hear more from you. Give people an opportunity to do that so that once a month, once a week, however often you want to communicate to them and how you want to communicate to them, you can. So those are the 5 pieces of advice I would give you to do social media better today. As I mentioned, this is the R in Target. And if you are interested in diving a little bit deeper into the Target marketing framework, please feel free to go to hitthetargetbook.com. You can get the ebook, the audiobook if you're more into that, even a course, and you can sign up for that and get it for free. I would love for you to do that. Hey, thank you so much for watching these. If you're getting any value, please feel free to subscribe and share this with anybody you think could use some of these tips. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.